Taylor won, everybody. Are you happy now? Are you happy now? We have our first black female winner ever. We also have our first winner to win America's favorite player. That has never happened. Speaking of America's favorite player, did y'all notice that Kyle was in the top three? Are you shocked by that? I'm not, because the proponents of Taylor and the whole Black Cookout Alliance, they were out there strong voting for Kyle. He was in the top three and he was shocked. He was like, oh my God, I can't believe one. I was in top three? Really? After that racial biasness I did, oh, that behavior, oh, they do like me. I can have a TikTok career again. But and Michael was in the running for America's favorite player, which, yeah, but the people came through for Taylor because everybody was like, we're going to award this girl twice. And there was also a question, could that even happen? Could, America's favorite player also be the winner or vice versa? But obviously, CBS said yes. So, but, let's get down to the mess because, I'm here for the mess and the comedy. I can find comedy in any situation, everybody. Let me tell you, any situation. Truth about me, when my father died almost 2 years ago, he died on Christmas Day, which was the saddest day of my life, right? But at his funeral, I found some humor there. Like, I was crying and crying, and I was like, who is this horrible singer? Like, this person singing is horrible. The person doing the eulogy don't even know him, but this is funny. So I can find humor in some sad moments. And so here's the humor. Terrence, at the end, when they were running those credits, was in the background looking. And I'm going to edit this in, hopefully, if I have time, because I got to get to work. But I saw him lurking in the background, like kind of looking at Taylor hugging her mother and her grandmother. Like, he's just like creepy. He's creepy, like very stalker-ish. And that's my question. Was Terrence's disdain for Taylor because he adored her, had a thing for Taylor, and she paid him no mind? And or did he adore her youth? And was he envious of how she was unbothered? Like how she was able to float through without getting emotional. Was he was just envious of that, and like, and to him that was fake, and but that 47-year-old man, like, let's get it clear, like, age does not mean maturity or wisdom. A friend of mine once said, you are who you were in kindergarten. And I kind of believe that. I'm still kind of that same person I was in kindergarten. I was that witty, smart ass little kid in kindergarten. I'm still, if I must say so myself, witty and a smart ass. Like, I'm going to make a smart ass joke no matter what. But Taylor, like, is Terrence just, does he adore Taylor? Like, is he envious of her? Like, he couldn't ever be Taylor? Like, he couldn't move like Taylor. He's very emotional and catty, like calling her a hole on the stroll, just like berating her constantly, trashing her with Monty. And that's the funny thing. In the round table, he was like, Monty and I didn't really connect. They connected that last week he was in the house, and they had a lot to say about Taylor. Which is why, like, Monty does not know, well, he might know right now, that you are quite hated on the outside. Whereas he was telling Taylor when she was sitting in that bathtub, when he was so butthurt about what she said about his goddaughter, which she really didn't say anything. Like, he was butthurt. See, that's why people think this about you, like, you're cold and this and that. Well, guess what? Joke's on you, Monty. She's America's favorite player. And the winner. You thought you could win against Taylor. That's why you took her to the final two. Or did Monty actually take her to the final two because he knew optically if he cut a black woman that would look bad for him? Or did he genuinely want to see a black man and a black woman in the final two seats? I don't know. That question hasn't been asked to Monty, but I'm sure when he's asked that question, he's going to give a politically correct answer like everybody else. Everybody's giving these politically correct answers. And speaking of politically correct answers, like what was that about with Daniel? Daniel was like, "Oh yeah, you thought it was." Julie said, "You thought it was gonna be boring." He said, "It was, but 2 weeks later, it got exciting." As if he was so exciting. And does Daniel still have that disdain for Taylor that he had in the beginning? And why didn't they talk to Nicole? They talked to Pooch because, Pooch is, he pooched himself. But then, speaking of not, okay, so everybody wasn't politically correct because Amira threw some shade and was being messy. But I saw Amira for her works when she was in the house, that short time before she got evicted. Amira was arrogant and catty. Amira, like Julie asked Amira, like, what was the most shocking thing of the season? That late showmance with Taylor and Monty. Like, that was some shade you were throwing. Good thing the votes were already in. But, everybody kind of already knew that because Alyssa put them on blast. And that's why they need to do more jury house footage, live footage, feeds for the jury house so we can really know what they're really truly thinking. But so, I still want to know why Nicole didn't get to speak on the show. But Nicole did get to speak to Taylor after she won because they had this long embrace. Did you notice that? I noticed those things. I always notice what's behind the scenes, like the reading between the lines. Nicole was trying to make a quick amends with Taylor. Was it genuine? Did she genuinely go back home and realize, oh my God, Taylor was definitely concerned about my mom? Or was she trying to save face and clean up? But I don't think she would need to like clean up with Taylor because it's like now you're out of the house. You can go your separate ways. We live in different parts of the country. We don't ever have to see each other again. So I actually think that was a genuine apology. What she said, I don't know. But all I saw was Taylor mouthing, I love you. So Taylor was okay. Because you know what? Taylor is $800,000 richer, minus the taxes she's going to have to pay. But she's definitely richer and this is going to change her life. And did you like what Taylor said, what she was going to do with the money? She's going to, go to the mall. She's going to be Mall-lissa. You know what? Here's the thing. I know everybody's going to hate me for saying this. Taylor is not funny at all. She's not witty at all. And here's something I wanted to say. Because I was watching Real Housewives of Atlanta and Big Brother at the same time, going back and forth. But one thing I did notice, at the end of Real Housewives of Atlanta, they were asking, they were summing up the season, and they got to Kenya Moore, who was Miss Michigan and Miss USA. Taylor was Miss Michigan. She didn't win Miss USA, but they both said the exact same thing. Andy Cohen asked Kenya Moore, what is this season to you? And she said, resilience. Taylor also said, resilience. Do they teach that in pageant school in Michigan? Is there a pageant school? But they both said the exact same thing, both being representatives of Michigan, like 20 plus years apart. So I just found that funny. That's just something I noticed, like resilience. And then was Kenya Moore even resilient this season? She had no storyline, but this is about Big Brother. All right. So Taylor won. Is everybody butthurt? Is everybody genuinely happy for Taylor? I'm talking about the cast. Were they genuinely happy? Were they all shocked that she won America's favorite player? Like, what did they discuss? Like, I find it funny that Jasmine, who hated her the most in the beginning, who accused Taylor of calling her fat, voted for her. Like, I'm voting for the person who did exactly what I couldn't do, or something to that effect. And Taylor, you're as glistening as a lemon pound cake. I'm so glad we don't have to hear these fake country analogies from Jasmine that seem to be produced, but that one seemed like it came from her because if they have time. And speaking of the questions, they have questions for the finalists. Beforehand, do they give them, like, say, here's a scenario. Here's the questions for Taylor if she comes out as a finalist, and here's the questions for Monty, or here's the questions for Turner. They were already prepared. Mind you, they were generic questions, but like one was like, Taylor, you were the biggest target of the season, blah, blah, blah. So that was just something I wonder, like, these questions seem to already be predetermined. So were they prompted to do both sets of potential scenarios of winners? That's just a thought. This was a good season, everybody. Initially, I said I didn't like the season because I did not like the people. And I still stand by that. I don't necessarily like the people, but it did get juicy. And I think that Taylor and Monty starting that showmance or fomance, like um, the Taylor and Joseph fomance. I still believe that that was a fomance that Monty and Taylor had, but it brought some drama that would not necessarily be there down to the final five and four and three players. So I think that made it exciting. And yeah, it was a good season. Will it ever happen again? Maybe not in this millennium. What will casting be like in the future? Drop into the comments and tell me your thoughts. Like and subscribe.